How's it going, my true people? DrSlaking, the Slacking Doctor, back on Pokemon Showdown for our Week 5 IBL battle. You can see my face for the first time this season, and as I say, we're on Showdown for the first time this season. This week, we're going up against my man Jack, or Gray, and his Valienteis, I think it is. Jack is the only other Brit in the league, which is always fun to go up against a fellow Englishman, so that's nice. And this game, I have to start off by saying, is super weird for starters. We're on Showdown, as you can see, and I'll explain that in a second. But other than that, this is just a weird game. So basically, we were supposed to play the week that I went on holiday, and we weren't able to schedule, we weren't able to get a team gen in time, sorry. So neither of us could get a team's gen. So that was just a whole mess. I wasn't able to get any mocks done, any prep done. I literally just threw a team together in like 5 minutes, and then sent it off to my friends who gen and hoped they could get it. They couldn't get it. So that was that. Then I went on holiday, and then probably I'd been on holiday nearly the whole week before we were able to schedule while I was away as well, just because we were both busy. So we ended up playing this game like 6 or 7 days after the deadline, which was really late, so that was the whole thing. But thank you to Jack for just being relatively easy to schedule with, considering it was all on me that I was going on holiday and had very little time. Now, all that being said, that rushed prep and everything is going to come into play as I kind of break down what we're bringing here. But that's why we're on Showdown, by the way, because I was away in Switzerland where I couldn't get on the Wi-Fi with my 3DS and stuff, so I couldn't play on 3DS. I couldn't even get a Team Gen before I went and whatever, so that's why we're on Showdown. But let me talk about the team, and that'll kind of explain stuff. We have a kind of fast, quite bulky Greninja with Water Shuriken, Dark Pulse, Scold, and U-Turn, I think. I'm going to struggle to remember all 4 moves, because again, this team was built now at this point, 2 weeks ago. I'm actually recording this probably an hour and a half before you guys watch it, so this whole thing has just been crazy week, but normal service will be resumed next Sunday, and I apologize for this kind of mess. And then this is where the rush comes in. This Coco is fast and a little bit bulky, but it has 200 EVs, well 192 to be exact, uninvested. This is where when someone gens your team, even when you've prepped in a rush, they can turn around and say to you, look, moron, you forgot 200 EVs on your Coco there, and I'd go, oh crap, let's put that in whatever. Unfortunately, it just means we have 200 EVs missing on Coco. This is a fast, fairly bulky Coco with what I put into it at least, with a Kebia Berry designed to take on the Hawlucha. Basically, Hawlucha, even at +2, shouldn't OHKO with Poison Jab, and any other move it can't really hit me with that well. Coco is actually a really good Hawlucha check if you bring the Kebia Berry, and I figured he would run Poison Jab to hit it. I've prepped Hawluchas for Cocos before, so that always makes it kind of easier. It's also Defog, Roost, U-Turn, and Discharge. Discharge, because Hawlucha will get the defense boost. Discharge with 0 investment. I think we have 20 special attack investment. We'll always pick up the KO on the Hawlucha as well, so there was no need to run anything else. Then we have a 3 attacks Roost Kyurem-Black. Again, I want to say Expert Belt, but I honestly can't remember at this point. It could be leftovers. I'm not quite sure. But fairly bulky with Ice Beam, Flash Cannon, Earth Power, because look at his team. That hits everything, you know. Then we have a fast, bulky Tran, nearly max HP, nearly max speed, with Rocks, Lava Plume, Earth Power, and Flash Cannon as well. So kind of similar to the Kyurem-Black set. Does Kyurem-Black even get Flash Cannon? I'm now doubting myself. I don't even know. Something along those lines. It's been a while. This one's a mess. Then we have Mega Pinsir. This is a 3 attacks Mega Pinsir with Quick Attack, Return, Close Combat, and Swords Dance, so that we can just punish his team. Basically, if we can get Rocks up, Aerodactyl shouldn't be able to switch in on me. I think we're Adamant, if I'm remembering right. So Return into Quick Attack should be able to pick off Aerodactyl, and then if you look at his team, barring the Heliolisk, which is an Unmon, we should be fine. And then last up, we have a predominantly Fizz Def, but with some Spadef. Gastrodon designed to take on a physical Victini and a Hydreigon, which hasn't appeared. So, yeah, pretty offensive team, but pretty bulky at the same time. Bit of a weird build, rushed build, and obviously that Coco is just ridiculous. So, with that in mind, I'm going to lead it off with the Gren, because Gren really leads well against everything on his team. If I don't lead with Gren, I'm in a hard spot against Victini. It leads well against the Aerodactyl, which also puts me in a difficult spot. The Gastrodon can take on both of those, but I don't want it to get chipped down immediately. It puts me in a good spot as I can fire off. I might have Ice Beam on this, actually. It might be Scold, Ice Beam. I don't know, Water Shuriken. I think that's what it is, so I didn't get walled by Bulu, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I had Dark Pulse after all. But I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out together. And then yeah, pretty much Greninja just leads well against everything but the Heliolisk, but I don't expect him to lead off with the Heliolisk. So we're going to lead with Gren. Sorry, this is such a mess. Like I said, this whole week's just crazy. And he does lead off with the Heliolisk, and I'm like, oh, are you serious? Right. If he's Scarf, I don't think he'll Thunderbolt, because I've got such an obvious switch into Gastro here, and Kyurem-Black here. If he just goes straight for the Thunderbolt, he kind of puts himself in a difficult spot. Potentially me getting a sub up with Kyurem, me getting a nice Toxic off with Gastro. Whatever he wants to do. It puts him in a difficult position if I can go Gastro or Kyurem. So if he's Scarf, I think he has to U-turn. He could be Volt Switch, but I think it's more likely to be U-turn. And if he isn't Scarf, then I'll get a faster U-turn than him. I'll guarantee outspeed him. So I'm just going to go for the U-turn here. And he actually does turn out to be Scarf, so he gets a little bit damage with the U-turn, but that's fine. I knew I would take that relatively easily. And now I know that the Heliolisk is Scarf, which is important. And I can just U-turn here on the Piloswine and go into Kyurem-Black. And here I'm just going to fire off the Ice Beam in case he wants to go into Bulu on a potential like Draco Meteor or whatever. He doesn't, he just goes for the Toxic, and I realize this thing is fully Spadef, and I'm like, oh my god, Piloswine ate that. The Ice Beam should have still 2KO'd, potentially, because remember, we are Terravolt, so thick fat doesn't matter. It's time we go for the Flash Cannon. I thought he would stay in, and basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to put him in a potential Earth Power range, so that way the next turn I can go for the Earth Power and catch the Victini. So far he's seen, so it wasn't Flash Cannon. Yeah, it was Flash Cannon, sorry. Yeah, Ice Beam, Flash Cannon, and he probably thinks that the Victini is a fairly safe switch at this point. So I'm just going to go for the Earth Power here. I don't think he will ever go Bulu, and I don't think he will ever go Aerodactyl on potential Flash Cannon. But he does go Victini, and I'm like, perfect. I've now chipped down one of the biggest threats on his team massively. And here, I go into Gastrodon. It's my design Victini check. I don't see the point in losing Kyurem just yet. It still can be really good against Scarf Heliolisk, for example. It can still be really nice against a slow variant of Bulu. I think that actually we might have enough speed to outspeed even a max speed Bulu. I can't quite remember. But either way, Kyurem-Black still outspeeds enough things on his team and resists enough things on his team to be useful. So I preserve Kyurem-Black here and go into Slug as he goes for the Focus Blast. And I'm like, okay, he's Life Orb special. I don't think he's going to be Hidden Power Grass, right? Because I haven't done any prep for this, bear in mind. If you're already shouting at the screen, we're going to get there. But I didn't think it'd be Hidden Power Grass. I was like, he's going to be like, I've never really played Special Victini, and it's just a bit of a gap in my knowledge, I guess. Remember, if you're new here, I'm relatively new to draft community. I'm learning quickly, but I'm still relatively new. So I was expecting, like, okay, Focus Blast, Glaciate for Gligar, maybe Hidden Power Grass, but it's got to be Searing Shot, probably Psychic, because that hits more of my team. I'm expecting Double Stab, Focus Blast, Glaciate in essence. So I'm like, okay, if this is a Psychic, he might KO me, but I just really don't have a good switch in, and I don't want to go Heatran on a potential Focus Blast. So I'm just going to go for the Earth Power here and try and KO him and not mess around with this thing. As he reveals to have the Grass Knot. Now, I didn't know this. I didn't know that Victini got Grass Knot and Energy Ball, apparently. And this is why you do mocks. This is why you prep with other people if you're a new player, because there's just gaps in your knowledge sometimes. But that gives me Gren, because I know he's Life Orb and I know I'm faster. And here I am just going to Scold. He could go Heliolisk, but I don't think it's worth him risking it on a Dark Pulse. So I just go for the Scold and knock out the Piloswine, which can come in. Now he goes to the Heliolisk, and I know he outspeeds me, and I really don't have great switch into this thing with Gastrodon gone, so I'm just going to go Coco. I should be able to take a Thunderbolt and roost it off and still be out of range of a Lucha, which is important, and he actually goes into Bulu here and gets rid of my terrain, but I get a little bit left over, I get a little bit of grassy terrain recovery, sorry, and I'm just going to go hard Kyurem here, because the only way he KOs me is if he just goes straight for the Superpower into the, or the Stone Edge into the Coco, which I don't think he's going to do either of those, as he actually reveals to be a fairly slow Leech Seed set. So I'm like, okay, this is really good. This is a free Ice Beam for me. It will even knock out the Victini, so it's just a no drawback play, which is why I made that aggressive switch into Infinite, which, by the way, is spelt wrong. Again, this is a problem when you're rushed. It just happens, especially when you can't type like me. So that's why the reason that I played aggressive with Infinite, because it's like, well, if I get it in now, I can guarantee a KO. If I don't get it in, I was going to have to sack something to the Bulu anyway. He goes into the Aerodactyl now, and again, without my Gastrodon, I don't have a check to this Aerodactyl, which sucks. But I can go into Greninja here. And this is a bit of a 50-50, because if I have Water Shuriken and I'm Expert Belt, he's seen that I'm not like Specs or whatever from the other damage I'm getting. I think I can still be Specs, actually. He doesn't quite know that. But if I'm Specs, I can probably KO with 3 Water Shurikens. And if I'm Expert Belt, I can KO with 4 Water Shuriken hits. So I have a chance to Oko this Aerodactyl, certainly put it in Rock's range for later in the game here. And I think that he knows that. And looking at my team, like, Aerodactyl can just sweep me, right? Earthquake will kill Coco. Stone Edge will kill Mega Pinsir. Earthquake will kill Tran. So I'm like, I don't think he will let his Aerodactyl go down to a potential roll here on the Water Shuriken. I think he has to go Heliolisk. So with that in mind, I'm going to make the aggressive play again and either Ice Beam or Dark Pulse, whichever one I had, just to chip down that Heliolisk, because Heliolisk is also a problem. Like, both Aerodactyl and Heliolisk can just sweep me at this point, nearly. So I'm just going to go for the Dark Pulse or Ice Beam here. I'm pretty sure it was, I don't know. I think it was Dark Pulse. And he actually reveals to be Supersonic Sky Strike and stays in, and I'm like, God damn, I regret not going for the Water Shuriken, because had I just straight up OHKO'd that thing, that would have put me in a really good spot. That would have been really, really nice. So I might not have got the rolls anyway, but at least I would have put him lower, and that would have been interesting. So, you know, I got the play wrong there, but I still kind of stand by my reasoning for playing aggressive. I'm in the back, and I think he had safer plays to win the game. But when I spoke to him about it, he was like, well, I knew you'd need 4 rolls even if you were expert belt, so I thought it was worth taking the chance and getting rid of the Gren rather than letting me make the aggressive play like I've been making all game. So I completely get why he made that play. And now I can go Coco. I can take an Earthquake from this thing from full and discharge to kill it. But I'm actually just going to go for the Defog, because I think at this point my best way of winning this game is with Mega Pinsir on a choke by him. So that's what I'm trying to maneuver for here. And I do manage to scare out the Aerodactyl. As he goes for the superpower with the Bulu into my incoming Tran, but that's okay. Here I'm just going to get Rocks up, because the Rocks will guarantee, as I said, that Return into Quick Attack kills the Aerodactyl. And he goes for the Leech Seed here, I'm guessing trying to stop the Mega Pinsir coming in for free on the -1 superpower or whatever, or maybe stop the Coco coming in, I'm not quite sure. But here I'm just going to go for the Lava Plume, because it will put the Bulu really, really low. It can potentially snag a burn on Aerodactyl. It can potentially put Heliolisk really, really low because of the dry skin, and it can maybe get a burn or just put Lucha really, really low. So from my perspective, Lava Plume is just my best play there. We don't snag the burn, but that's not really an issue. I can just go hard into Coco here. As I said, this thing can't do anything to me. If it goes for the SD, I guarantee to take a +2 Poison Jab with my Kebia Berry. And if he attacks me, then he can't KO me the next turn with any move. So he goes for the Drain Punch here. And I'm like, I'm fine. He goes for the Poison Jab. Good tech on his part. It does 31%. So actually, without the Kebia Berry, that would have just KO'd me. He would have just got the roll. As it would have done 62 damage. But that just shows that even if he'd gone for the SD... and got the 62 damage by being +2 attack, he wouldn't have got the Drain Punch chip, so I always would have taken it. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. And here I'm just going to go for the Discharge and pick up the KO. Her Lucha goes down, and I'm like, okay, my win con is still my Mega Pinsir. I've just got to try and play around and win with Mega Pinsir. Heliolisk is Scarf, so I can maybe do something around that. And here he goes for the Thunderbolt, and I kind of thought at this point that you didn't have to Mega Evolve first turn in the IBL, and I was going to not Mega Evolve my Mega Pinsir here. I was going to just go for the Close Combat in regular form and probably KO this Heliolisk, as he would have to stay in and go for the Thunderbolt to prevent me like SDing or whatever. So I was like, oh, I can win this game, potentially. Still would have been difficult. But I was like, oh, what's my best play? And then I realized that, 1, I couldn't do that anyway. I couldn't not Mega Evolve because the IBL rules are you have to Mega Evolve first turn. And 2, I realized that probably wouldn't work and that my best play was to go Heatran. He doesn't know much about my Heatran set. He knows that I'm like max HP from what he's done with his superpower damage. But he hasn't seen my attack investment or anything else. And if he looks at my special attack investment against his Holucha, he's going to see that I've got like very little special attack. So he doesn't know my speed investment. That's the more crucial thing, because his Bulu looks like it's a slow Bulu. So what that basically means is that he's going to think, alright, he hasn't got much special attack. He's got max HP. He's probably like max Spadef. In which case, I will be a roll, and I'll probably take this Thunderbolt and be able to kill this Heliolisk potentially. Or at least put it in quick attack range. So, he actually switches out here, and that was the only thing I could do is try and bluff. I do think this was a misplay on his part, but that, like, at this point in the game, that's all I can do. I've messed up so much with my team, like, this is all I can do. And I go for the Lava Plume here, and I catch the Bulu coming in, which is really, really nice. I'm just going to Lava Plume again. That's why I Lava Plumed that turn instead of Earth Powering, because again, I could snag the burn on Aerodactyl. It did more to the Bulu, so it just made sense. Here, I'm going to go into Meta B on the Superpower, and I don't think he can let me set up. I think he's got a fear. If he lets me get to like +6, I might just sweep him. So I'm going to go straight for the return into the Aerodactyl, because I know that Rocks, I've just been wanting to get my Rocks up to get this exact situation now. Rocks plus return plus Quick Attack KOs Aerodactyl. We see we do 58 there with the return. And we pick it off with the Quick Attack. And now, I've won the game, right? Now I've won the game. Because if the Heliolisk comes in and it goes for a Thunderbolt, my Heatran is, from the Grassy Terrain recovery and stuff, out of range of the Thunderbolt. And it outspeeds his Bulu. The only way I don't win this game is if I either don't knock out the Heliolisk with my Bulu, with my Tran, sorry. Or if I get paralyzed on like a Thunderbolt and then Bulu outspeeds me. That's the only way I don't win this game from this point. So I'm like, okay, I just got to figure out what role I need with Heatran to knock out this Heliolisk. And look, he's at 76%. I look at my Heatran, and Earth Power does 76% guaranteed. So I'm like, I've won. I've won. This is it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for close combat, because I don't want him to scarf into like Surf and get some weird hacks or something. That's like the only plays I can see him having is getting some weird like hacks. So I'm just going to go for the close combat. And he goes for the Thunderbolt. He KOs me. And Grassy Terrain gives him 6%. And now he's not in Earth Power range. And I just completely blanked. I mean, I don't know if the Earth Power is a guaranteed KO, to be fair, but like it was a good chance to KO. And now I'm like, oh crap. Oh no, why did I not Quick Attack? Like, all I had to do there was Quick Attack. He couldn't go into Bulu, because Quick Attack would kill the Bulu, and then he'd have to bring Heliolisk back in on Rocks anyway. So, all I had to do was Quick Attack. I would have done, like, probably 20%. Then, I guaranteed 100%. It wasn't even a roll on his Heliolisk anymore. Yes, he could have crit me with Surf, but he can still crit me with Surf now. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. It was just a huge misplay for me. So now I'm like, okay, well, Thunderbolt still doesn't kill. Maybe Earth Power is a roll to kill. I don't know his spread and stuff. Thunderbolt doesn't KO. He paralyzes me anyway. He gets a 10% power. We Earth Power, and he lives on 12. So there's a chance, as I say, he only got 6% from the Grassy Terrain recovery. So he would have lived on 6 based on those rolls anyway with the Earth Power. So again, me not Quick Attacking was just a ridiculous play, because, like, 1, I would have done that 12% with Quick Attack. 2, he would have lived anyway on 6%. What was I thinking? Like, what was going through my head when I didn't Quick Attack there? Like, it was just the most moronic play. Gutted. So anyway, he gets the para, and he KOs me here. And I was thinking, well, you know, he got the 10% para regardless, so it is what it is. Like, maybe I wouldn't have beaten Bulu, but actually, it turns out, even with the power, because I'm like max speed Heatran, I still outsped his Bulu because he was such a slow Bulu. So yeah, assuming that I had Quick Attack there and put him in Earth Power range, even with the 10% power, he would have had to get the 10% power into a full power to beat me. Otherwise, Lava Plume would have just killed his Bulu. And for those of you, the first reaction that everyone has said to me is, why didn't you Lava Plume on the Heliolisk? Because of Dry Skin, it would have killed. All of the calcs I've ran, and I've shown this to people, say that Earth Power does more than Lava Plume to this Heliolisk. Maybe I'm missing something, maybe I'm wrong, but if you can do it. You can go on Showdown, you can put in a Heatran with Lava Plume and Earth Power and a Heliolisk with Dry Skin. For some reason it says Earth Power does more. I haven't gone into maths of it myself. If you want to, please feel free to explain it down below. But yeah, GG regardless of my Magic. Really weird game. Like, just misplays, frankly, on both sides, and he admitted it too. We both kind of choked this game. Like, he had the game tied up around turn like 20, and then kind of choked it, and then I had the game tied up around turn 24 and choked it. Like, it was just one of those games. Misplays galore, misprep on my end galore. And yeah, but it was fun. It was still fun, and we still learned something, right? When you're in this position, just Quick Attack. Like, I was almost playing aggressively even when I didn't have to at the end there. It was almost like, well, if he chokes and clicks Surf, I can just kill him with close combat and save a differential point. But I didn't care about the differential point. I was just like, Quick Attack won't make a difference. But it would. It would have guaranteed to put him in range of Earth Power, and that's the whole thing. So yeah, regardless, we lose that game 2-0. GG's to my man Jack, like I said. Hopefully we can replay him in playoffs. That would be an absolute joy. Hopefully we both make playoffs. But regardless, next week we're going up against my man OP Jellison. Once again, the prep is going to be rushed because I've just been away all week and stuff, and it's another game that I've had to get an extension for. Shout out to the IBL, never be involved in that, for approving the extensions and everything else. They've been very, very understanding of my holiday, and, you know, it's very, very cool, the other coaches as well. But yeah, we'll take on OP Jellison next week. He's currently, I believe, the only undefeated coach left in the league. So that's going to be really, really cool. We ended the only other undefeated coach's undefeated streak in mid. So who knows? Maybe we will end 2 streaks this season. I hope so. Regardless, as always, guys, check out everybody else's channels. They're linked down in the description. Definitely check out Jack's side of this battle, because I'm going to be there looking at his thought process. It'll be very, very interesting. But yeah, that's enough from me. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.